Hi guys, Erin here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing all about the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, how me and my family observe the day, as well as some traditional customs. I asked you guys on Instagram if you had any questions for me, so I'm going to be answering those questions in today's video all about the holiday. So I hope you guys like this one. If you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more. And you can always ask me more questions in the comments, and of course you can feel free to DM me on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my days, so feel free to reach out and follow me there. Okay, so before I get started, I'm in a new room. I thought it'd be fun to just change it up. This room actually doesn't have any furniture in it, in case you can't tell, but our couch is coming this weekend. And I'm rambling now, but yeah, I thought I would change it up and try to film in some different locations around the house. And I hope to show this room in like a decorate with me for Hanukkah video maybe coming up in a few months. So yes, and now into the video. Okay, so before we jump into the questions that I got asked on Instagram, I thought I would just really quickly tell you guys what is Yom Kippur and how basically do Jewish people observe the holiday. So Yom Kippur follows the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, which starts the new year, and it's a time to reflect on the year that's been and to ask God for forgiveness for the things that we've done wrong in the past year, because Jewish people believe, or it's one of the tenets of Judaism, that on Rosh Hashanah God decides your fate for the next year, and on Yom Kippur that fate is sealed. So who will die, who will live, all of these big important questions, and Jewish people believed to different varying degrees on, you know, what that really means and how much God plays a role in your life and things like that. But for most Jews, they use the day of Yom Kippur to really reflect on the past year, where they've missed the mark, where they want to be in the year ahead. So it's really a day of reflection and atonement for the things that we've done wrong. And the thing that the holiday is most known for is fasting. It's a 25-hour fast that Jewish people observe in prayer. So those are the hallmarks of the holiday. So Yom Kippur is one of those holidays that's primarily celebrated or observed in the synagogue. It's a very much a prayer-focused holiday. There aren't too many at-home rituals, but I thought a lot of the questions that I got asked were about, you know, what we do in our home, especially because this year many of us are stuck/safe at home for the holiday. So generally what we do is we don't really have a big meal before the fast begins at sundown. We, in my family growing up, always had like a quick dinner because we were like trying to get to synagogue on time and wanted to start our fast on time. But we would have traditional Jewish foods for the meal, usually like a Shabbat kind of meal, chicken, rice, things to fill up on. And then the big sort of at-home celebration of the holiday is after it actually ends on the next night when we do a break the fast meal. So you'll often hear Jewish people say like, where are you going for breakfast? Or what are you doing for breakfast? Because that's the celebration and holiday meal of the holiday, even though it technically occurs after the holiday ends. Okay, so let's jump into the questions I got asked on Instagram. The first one that I actually got multiple times was, what are your tips for fasting? So let's get into it. Fasting. The most important tip I have is to hydrate before you fast. So drink as much water as you can the day before. And I've heard, I have not tested this one out, but apparently coconut water really, really helps. You probably know, if you're in the know, that coconut water helps if you're hungover, but it just really fuels your body with a lot of nutrients and liquid. So apparently if you drink coconut water before your fast, you have a much easier time and you don't get that like draining feeling the next afternoon. And it's also a really good idea to drink water and coconut water when you finish fasting to feel better. My other tip is to rest as much as possible. I find that the afternoon, like after lunchtime before dinner time, is the hardest time, and I usually can get like shaky or jittery. If you can take a nap at that time, sometimes that feels really nice. However, it is hard to wake up from it, but I will say if you can sleep and rest, that really helps. My other tip is for parents to prepare as much as you can the night before. It's really hard to be feeding kids. kids do not fast on Yom Kippur when you're fasting. So doing something like prepping breakfast the night before, or the day before, putting lunch even in a lunchbox so it's ready to go, you don't have to do anything for your kids, can make that a little bit easier, and having snacks for them that they can easily access so you're not having to make food a day of Yom Kippur, as well as getting everyone's outfits ready to go, putting them all out, laying them all out the day before, because having to rush around, get kids out the door, get all dressed up is really hard when you're fasting. And it also detracts from the point of fasting, and this is what I really want to talk about, which is that the significance of fasting is to focus your mind and your body by eliminating the distraction of food, because Jewish holidays are all about the food. And especially for women, traditionally in these roles, a lot of the holiday is taken up with preparing the food for family meals. But the focus of Yom Kippur is to really atone, to look inward, to pray, and to eliminate that distraction. That being said, fasting can be a distraction in of itself if it's very difficult for your body. So for me, I haven't actually fasted in quite a number of years. First, because I've either been pregnant or nursing for like the past 6 years, and I'll go back to that in a second because I did get a question about pregnancy and nursing while fasting. But for me, I did not fast while pregnant or nursing. And actually before I even got pregnant, I think it was like 1 or 2 years before that, I had a really bad reaction to fasting. I was very sick later in the afternoon, like 2 years in a row. So I just said, I'm not doing this anymore, because to me, being so sick that I couldn't even pray, or let alone stand up, is not the point of the holiday. But there are ways to observe the idea of limiting food without completely fasting. So some people do a dry fast, so they'll drink water but not eat any food. For me, I'll have like really simple meals, like maybe just a piece of toast in the morning or some almonds in the afternoon. So it's not 100% fast to the point that my like blood sugar is dropping and I'm feeling sick, but I'm not indulging. The next question I want to get to, which I got asked on Instagram, is about what do you do if you're pregnant or nursing while fasting? So I do not fast while pregnant or nursing, and some very religious women still do, and some people will ask their rabbi or their doctor depending on how far along in the pregnancy they are. But I would recommend that you do not fast, especially while pregnant, but also while nursing. It's really harmful for your body. I know there'll be comments saying I did it and I was fine, and of course there are exceptions, but in Judaism, when you're carrying a baby, that is your primary objective, is to keep yourself healthy for that baby and for yourself. So fasting can be really hard on pregnant women whose bodies are already working overtime. Okay, I'm not gonna get too much into that tangent, but definitely ask your doctor if you're thinking about it, and make sure that you're healthy enough to do it. And if at any point you are not feeling well, have water, have food. Okay, next question I got is, I got this question in like 2 different ways. I thought it was really interesting. The first was, why is it such a solemn day? And the other one is, what is the mood of the day? Happy, sad, etc. So I thought this was a really interesting question because I hadn't thought about it before. But yes, it is a very solemn day. It's definitely a different mood in synagogue, partially because everyone's fasting. So people are just not their jolly old selves. And it's another aspect of the fasting is that it sets that mood because the point is to be serious and to focus. And also because traditionally we believe that our fate is being sealed for the year. It's all about our intention, how much we pray, how much we atone for what we've done wrong. So we really don't want to be in this jovial or distracted mood because it's such a significant and important day. We need to focus on that. However, I would say break fast is pretty celebratory and people are generally in good moods. Another aspect that makes the holiday more somber is that there is a portion of the service called Yizkor, where we remember people who have passed away. There's some beliefs in Judaism that we can honor those who have passed by doing good deeds, by doing mitzvot, and for praying for their souls. So there's this big focus of the day on people who have passed away, and it is very somber because you're thinking so much about your loved ones who have passed away. You're praying that they're in a good place now. You want to do your best for them. There's a lot of this intergenerational tie-in that focuses on the day. So especially people who have lost, really significant loved ones in their life, it's a very somber time as they think about them and remember them, and it's a big focus of the service. It's also a time where we think about those who don't have folks to pray for them, so the millions of Jewish people who died in the Holocaust, lone soldiers, folks like that, martyrs. So there's all these sections of the service that focus on people who have passed away, so it does create a very somber setting in the synagogue. The next question I got is how to teach your kids about Yom Kippur. So I definitely think this is a tough one because it is a somber holiday, and usually when we're teaching kids about Jewish life and Jewish culture, we're sharing all the happy, wonderful things about it. But I think what's so important is teaching your kids, one, how to apologize, and two, how to accept an apology. And I think it's totally appropriate, no matter what age they are, to talk about those feelings and how it can be hard to forgive and also hard to say sorry. Something that we do with my kids who are really, really little that we learned in our JCC Shabbat program is to shake out the yuckies. So we do this before Shabbat. We shake out all the yucky feelings we've had from the week. And I think that concept of getting rid of all those yucky feelings and preparing for a new moment can definitely apply for Yom Kippur. So you can shake out the things that somebody did that upset you, and get ready to forgive them and focus on how good that feeling is inside when you're able to do that. Okay, then the last question I got is, what are some traditions specific to your family? So for me, growing up, like I mentioned, we didn't have a big meal before synagogue. It was mostly a synagogue day, but it was really fun because I went to elementary school, like day school, where I went to synagogue, so it was always a time to like reconnect with my whole grade, and it was so fun. We spent most of the services, like my mom called it the passage service, like the hallway service, because the kids just run up and down the hallways. I don't think it's really like that anymore, but back in the day, in the unsupervised 90s, we just ran up and down the hallways and like got into mischief. We also, because we went to school there, knew all the ins and outs of the building, so we would have a lot of fun just like running in all the secret corridors and janitor's closets and, you know, doing whatever mischief we did back in the day. So I have very fond memories of that on Yom Kippur, especially because the adults were like, you know, really serious and focused in synagogue, and the kids always laughed during Yizkor, the time where, you know, talk about people who have died. They were like, okay, the kids need to go, so we were like, you know, free on our own. They did have children's services, but we always snuck out, so those were good times. And then the obviously the part that I remember most is the break fast. We would always go to my mom's best friend's home, and I remember she always made the best chicken wings, and my family is South African, so East Coast Jews, and I'm sure West Coast Jews as well, have like this bagel and schmear kind of break fast is traditional, and you have that like kugel, blintzes, that dairy food. We're South African, we never had that. It was like meats, chicken, brisket, you know, I don't know. So I always loved that. And it was just always a late kind of fun night because we, you know, have to wait till an hour after sundown to break the fast. So it always ended up being a really late and fun night. And now things have just changed so much. I have really little kids. I'm not fasting. So I would say that our traditions are ebbing and flowing. And this year, even more so, I think we're doing services on Zoom. On Rosh Hashanah, we were able to do an outdoor family service, which was amazing. I said to my husband, like, this should be how every service is. It was so nice. Socially distant, like we were in the parking lot at least 6 feet away from any other family. There was only a few there, and it was just so nice. But anyways, I think for Yom Kippur, it's just on Zoom, and I'm gonna have breakfast with just our immediate family and like my husband's parents and sisters, so it's gonna be really small and stuff, but who knows what the future will be, I think. But Rosh Hashanah was really nice, even though it was really small and really different than usual, so I'm hoping Yom Kippur will be the same. I'm wishing an easy and meaningful fast for those of you watching this video. I always like to say this is something my rabbi said. It's kind of common that you'll hear people wish each other an easy fast, but I always wish someone a meaningful fast, because if it's easy or like if it's impossible, either way, the point is that it should be meaningful to you. So I'm wishing you guys all the best for a year of good health and happiness. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel down below. In the coming weeks, I'm also going to be sharing a lot more home stuff, hopefully some organization stuff coming up. So if you like that, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.